What's up, everybody? Welcome to Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week, Justin Davis,
Scoop.
Marty Sleva, Brian Altano. We've got a great show for you this week. We've reached hump day of 2015.
Ooh.
We're cresting. We're about to take the roller coaster down.
We're about to go down
We've been riding
flume. The flume. We're going to take the flume down.
We're about midway point in the year.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
It's hard to believe. It's been 6 months.
It's kind of a weird roller coaster, right? Because the end of our roller coasters are usually pretty awesome. Like, other roller coasters, I don't know how every roller coaster statistically ends, but statistically. But in the video game industry, things ramp up at the end, right?
Yeah.
Unless they all get delayed until the next year.
Unless you look at it as like all the flood of good games comes out in the fall.
Yeah.
It's like in the spring you're like going up, and now you're like, oh, here are all the games. Let's hit you in the face.
They Disneyland banned selfie sticks because people were taking them onto rides and stuff, thinking they were getting knocked out.
Very dangerous.
It's a very random anecdote, but just because we're talking about roller coasters?
It's not random at all. It's completely relevant to roller coasters.
Some people say raisins are nature's candy.
No one says that.
No, people say that. People who can't eat real candy.
So,
You're right.
you'll be okay. It's very early on in the show. We have an hour left of this one.
Okay.
This is going to be great.
Good scoop, guys.
That's all the scoops we have for you this week.
Jesus. All right. Let's rally.
What are the best games that have come out this year so far?
Witcher 3.
Yeah. Bloodborne.
Bloodborne, absolutely.
For me, Pillars of Eternity is way up there.
That's on my list too.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah, definitely.
You must build a boat.
Yeah.
Released. Apparently, you must build a boat.
Yeah, I'm really warming up to that game.
Yeah, me too. I was actually a little so-so in the beginning, and I'm the same as you.
Yeah,
Warming up.
Isn't that weird? Where it was just sort of, I think I was fatigued by it, and then I got in, and I was like, oh, it's actually a pretty good game.
I'll tell you, well, okay, we'll save it.
Sure.
No, I'm only a few hours into that one, but I think that's my favorite big AAA release game of the year. So
It's also like every 45 seseconds or so, I'm like, oh, this looks incredible.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is such
Really,
a
really
good-looking game.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
it's staggering. Yeah.
you must not be playing on PC.
Oh.
Aw.
What about Evolve? Evolve got really good reviews.
Yeah.
But people did not keep playing it, I don't think.
Yeah, I think Evolve is it was symptomatic of every time we saw it last year in preview form. It was really incredible. It's a really great game to play, like a 20-minute matchup that leaves a really interesting, lasting impression. But then when it actually came out, we sat down. Like Vince loved it. I think Vince gave it a 9.
Right.
But it just didn't quite have the legs. It felt like Titanfall, to where it couldn't sustain. Like it didn't have the Call of Duty or Halo caliber of multiplayer to actually hook people.
It's a game that shines where everyone involved really, really knows what they're doing. And so my experience was Evolve was, I turn on the game, download it, start playing. And I was with a team that was kind of new to the game. We were all new to the game. We're all level 1. And so we just stumbled all around looking for the monster. And we would find him and shoot him, and then the monster would run away. And I did that for the entire match. But once you really understand the team roles and understand all your tracking tools and can sort of corner them, and it's really balanced, then it becomes really, really interesting. It shines at really high level play, and at low level play, which is I think a lot of people probably spent a few hours with it. It's kind of tough.
Yeah. They're still releasing new monsters. And,
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a game that, if they iron out some of the kinks and really focus on how, if they can take, like you said, it has these amazing highs, and if they could somehow find out a way to capture that and have that throughout the course of a match, then I think it could be something special.
I actually didn't even remember that game came out this year. If that's how quickly
That's
it
the
sort
problem,
of came
right?
and went
Yeah.
for me. That was like I downloaded it and played it for a Saturday afternoon and an hour on Sunday, and it was just like, I get it, cool, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because when Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 came out, I played that for several months.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It had a lot longer lifespan, I think, than Evolve.
Yep.
But what we didn't do with Left 4 Dead 2 is remember it on 20 questions. That did not go well.
Yeah,
That's true.
That was bad.
We mentioned it, but Witcher 3.
Yeah.
People love Witcher 3.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a huge, gigantic game. Another game like Arkham Knight where I'm consistently stunned by how good it looks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how much there is to do.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Actually, yeah, I think that's actually a detriment to it. And from my point of view, I tend to be a little overwhelmed, and I'm like, Hearthstone is so much easier for me to just grasp and get right
So
into.
actually, I'm having the sort of opposite issue with Arkham Knight, where I'm like, there's a lot to do, but I'm sort of interested in doing a lot of it, aside from the 257 different Riddler trophy thing.
Yeah.
You know, I know with games like Assassin's Creed, the mini map pops up, and you're like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
this looks like I have to run errands for the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much here. But that's kind of the fatigue I felt with The Witcher. I was like, oh, there's a little too much here.
I thought The Witcher 3, I feel like the longer that game's out, people are going to sort of dig into its sort of highs and lows. And an interesting thing that game does that I don't think enough people talked about was it doesn't really hold your hand in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you will find things down in the basement of someone's house, and there's not a map marker for it. There's nothing there. It's just there, and it's telling you a little story. And there's a lot of really interesting world building that happened in that game that... you'll see people be like, I can't believe this crazy thing I found in The Witcher. And it's not something that a million other people have found. Like, there really is stuff sort of off the beaten map, and rewarding exploration. I think that was a really, really cool thing about the game. Witcher 3 was really hard. It wasn't afraid to be challenging. I thought that was another really cool thing about that game.
Yeah.
Speaking of hard, what about Bloodborne?
Yeah.
How's that sitting with everybody?
I think that's probably at the top of my list right now, honestly. I haven't played a ton of Batman yet, but yeah, Bloodborne. Bloodborne's interesting because I'm someone who loves the Souls games, and it's my game of the year so far. And Altano, you're someone who really hasn't until now.
Yeah, I only kind of scratched the surface on those games, and I came into Bloodborne, and I did a whole rant on Podcast Beyond about how I gave up on it, I rage quit it, and then I came back and conquered it and became awesome at it. And I think in terms of like tone, I don't think there's a game this year that sort of carries one theme better than that game does. I mean, Splatoon kind of does in a totally opposite
Weirdly enough,
way.
yeah,
I'm sort of just like,
what?
Here's 90s, here's 90s Gummy Sharks, and, Pogs and stuff like that. But Bloodborne is sort of like, here's this gothic horror world, and you are dropped into it, and everything is out to kill you. But if you get awesome at it, you will win.
Yeah,
and it made me feel like a king playing that game because you actually do feel yourself getting better.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's different than the other games we were talking about because you don't feel like you're inundated with decisions and choices and 1,000 things to do and this hopelessness. You have a single goal, and it is to make it 100 feet forward without dying.
Yeah,
and it is that over and over and over again, which I really like because every time you do make it that 100 feet, it is this like little accomplishment of, okay, I did it. Now, then you turn around a corner and a dog rat eats you.
I still need one of you to explain the Splatoon thing. I don't understand. I don't get it.
No, it's a very singular theme. Like they're not similar in content, but Splatoon adheres to its sort of mission statement, its thesis.
Sure.
In a way,
it's going to do this one thing and nail it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, like stylistically, like whereas I feel like Batman and The Witcher are kind of just like a little all over the place in terms of...
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
Splatoon is sort of just like, here's a bunch of crazy kids in backwards hats and super soakers, and Bloodborne's like, here's a bunch of murder things that want to kill you.
They're also wearing hats, some of them.
Yeah, some of them are wearing backwards hats.
Is Splatoon one of the best games of the year?
I think it's... So we always get into this, right? Like, I think it's one of the most fun games of the year. I don't know if it's the best game of the year, because I think that the version they released versus the version you might be able to play by the end of the year are sort of different things. When the game came out, it was very low on content, very low on maps, but it was incredibly fun. Like the base concept of Splatoon is great. It's really fun. A lot of the stuff is on the disc, and they've decided this weird thing of unlocking them via updates, even though they've been there already. There's no downloads or anything. So little by little, more things start trickling out, and there's going to be a ton of content in the game. But as of right now, I still feel like it's a little bit light.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great.
It's probably one of my most surprising games of the year. I'm just surprising in terms of how much people love it.
Yeah. Sold 1 million copies.
Yeah, which is crazy for a Wii U game.
Yeah.
Marty, what about Broken Age?
Yeah, I mean, see, that's a weird one because, the first half came out last year. Second half finally came out this year. The entire thing is now available. And it's available for the first time on PS4 and Vita. I think it's incredible. I think the one thing that's possibly holding it back is that the first act is stronger than the second act. So it's...
So I love the first act.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it for me or for the audience. But does the end? Are you sad? Like, does it end in a way that you're like, yeah, I like that ending? Is it satisfying?
I wish it was a bit more satisfying.
Okay.
The episode's really good.
Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't end on quite the same impact that obviously the first act did, which is an incredible ending.
Yeah.
So how come you haven't gone back? You just haven't had time? Or?
I mean, it's just so as I've mentioned before, I do all my PC gaming on a Mac that I boot into Windows. So I choose to boot into Windows and play a bunch of Steam games. And I was just booted into Mac mode doing other stuff for a few months.
Oh, yeah.
And then I started replaying Fallout 3 after E3. And so I'm in Mac mode, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got Broken Age to play through. I got a bunch of really rad PC games to catch up on. So I'll probably do that soon.
Cool. Speaking of really rad PC games, what about Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah, that's actually another one that I booted into PC to play. Yeah, I mean, a great old school RPG. I love that stuff like that can exist and coexist alongside. It's like Dragon Age is one version of Pillars of Eternity, and it's sort of like Baldur's Gate went down these two separate paths, and the one path is the huge, giant AAA Dragon Age, and the other path is stuff like Pillars of Eternity, and that went away for a long time, and now it's back, and it's awesome, and we're gonna get Torment Tides of Numenera, and we're gonna get a bunch of other really old school RPGs. It's awesome.
Did you just make up Torment's Tides of Numenera?
I'm not sure I got that last word right. I know Torment is, but these, Wasteland 2 came out.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. The writing's really good. The battles are really good and tactical.
One of the things I've loved so far is that we've named 7, 8 games, and they are all super different,
right?
Which is awesome.
Yeah, that's why I really love gaming in 2015. Is all the stuff that you used to love that you thought had to go away to make waves for the next thing. Now we really can kind of have our cake and eat it too.
Circle around with adventure games. And
like you get
RPGs.
adventure games back, you get isometric RPGs back, you get 2D platformers back, you get 3D platformers back. Like nothing has to go away anymore.
Yeah.
Shenmue comes back.
It's
Banjo
insane.
basically comes back. It's like,
It's weird.
now, an early release that really resonated with our audience was Dying Light.
Yeah, that's right.
IGN readers love that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So many people also played that game. It sort of hit right at the perfect time.
They timed that game perfectly.
Yeah, like if that would have came out 2 months earlier in November, a new IP probably would have got swatted down.
It would have got buried.
Yeah, absolutely.
It did very well.
I like the game. I don't love it. I think the game does a lot of stuff super well. But I don't think I don't know. For me, it just doesn't quite come together. Like I like the parkour, but I don't love the parkour.
I think that's pretty much exactly where I am.
Yeah.
Where I'm, I love zombie stuff. I'm one of the few people that's not fatigued on that yet, especially in video games. Like it's just, sometimes I do want that sort of come home and beat up mindless bad guys. And you do that in most games anyway, but zombie games just have the gall to be like, well, they're dumb here too, but that they're supposed to
At least
be.
you know for sure they don't have a kid somewhere that's waiting for them to come home.
Yes, I don't feel bad about that. But I feel the same way where there was a lot of elements there that didn't really click with me. I felt like the parkour stuff got better as I got better with it, but I was never fully like I'm 100% in on this. You know,
I think that game's ideas were a little bit better than its execution, in my opinion. I'm glad to see a little bit smaller developer make something new and have it come out and succeed and whatever they're doing. I'm assuming there's going to be more Dying Light in the future. Like that's cool, right? That's good to see something new succeed like that. But for me, I tried it and couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
I did love what they did the other day with their.
Oh yeah, that's great.
My god, the shots fired at Destiny.
So
Destiny has their Red Bull.
The Destiny guys did this thing where if you buy Red Bull, you get this DLC, and the Dying Light guys were like, if you drink water, we'll give you this thing for free. Just drink water. It's great for you. Put up a picture of yourself drinking water. We'll give you this free code. You don't have to drink any soda.
That's really
That's great.
What about Ori and the Blind Forest?
Oh yeah, that
Really
game
cool
is-
game.
Yeah.
Man.
More people probably need to play that game.
Also, I'm forgetting all these things came out this year.
Yeah.
Ori
That's why
was-
it's good to do this.
Yeah.
This recap.
And I'm gonna play this. I need to be cheered up. I'm gonna play this nice little cute platformer. No, that game's
No.
very sad.
Yeah,
in
that
the
game
first.
opens in the first 10 minutes. It's just like
It's the
just-
first 10 minutes of Up, basically.
Absolutely devastating. It was really hard.
that
Yeah, it
game
was.
gets very quickly. It gets extremely hard. I think one of the reasons maybe we forgot about it is just by being an Xbox One and PC. Wait, is it on PC?
I think it might
I
just
played
be-
on Xbox One.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't know if
so
it's
now-
on Steam or anything or not.
It's just a slightly limited audience, whereas a lot of these games are across the board and everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as XBLA anymore. But if there were, it would have been XBLA release.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
this is
digital
Games
release.
of Summer or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little bit smaller game, which doesn't mean anything anymore. But it's just easy to sort of gloss over that when stuff like Bloodborne was coming out at the same time.
Yeah, but Ori's it's carrying that flag of, like you said, Summer of Arcade almost, of like games like Limbo and Braid and Bastion. And
You're right. I wonder if I mean, not for the sake of this conversation, but I wonder if platform exclusivity hurt the amount of people that really would have loved to play that game, because I think it would have done a little better on PS4. I think it would have resonated more.
Yeah.
I think the PS4 audience at this point is sort of a little more in tune with stuff like that.
And honestly, I felt like last year the same way with Sunset Overdrive. It's a game from Insomniac, a traditional. You sort of associate Insomniac with Sony systems, and by having it only come back.
Sunset Overdrive is going to show up on most underrated lists at the end of this
That
year.
game's phenomenal.
Yeah.
What about Mortal Kombat X?
Oh man, again, completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
Man, that game was huge when it came out.
Yeah. That's like I really admire that game. I don't play Mortal Kombat. I'm terrible at it, but I love that game. It's still
I'm the exact same way.
Still coming out. I love watching people play it.
It took over our office for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's cool to see that, but I don't dare pick up a controller because I'm going to get my ass kicked.
I like that it carved out a space for itself. Like Mortal Kombat, survived for years, the first 3 or 4 games, just off the silliness and the shock value of the violence and the insane characters, and like. They weren't really. I mean, I played them for 1,000 hours, but like mechanically, they weren't on the same level as like Street Fighter. Right?
Yeah.
But they've gotten there. Now they have this very different paced fighting system, and they're doing their own thing, and it's actually kind of a legitimate. I don't know if I would call it an esport, but
No, but there is like an actual competitive scene now.
Yeah, and it feels very different, and it's carved out its own sort of competitive identity, compared to something like Street Fighter, and that's awesome. That they were able to, out of all the franchises, to come back and be bigger than ever. It's kind of strange that it's MK, but all credit to NetherRealm.
Yeah, well, and like Damon was saying, it's cool to see that the industry's in this almost like cyclical stage where we're getting things that we loved in the '90s, and they're back and better than ever.
Now, there are some other notable big games that were released this year, even if they didn't turn out as well as some had hoped. The Order 1886 came out this year.
Yeah.
I still feel like I want to play that game, just like in a weekend.
Oh,
You can. I mean, you could probably do it in
You could finish it by the end of GameScoop.
Especially if you play it on the easiest difficulty setting, you could probably fly through it in a couple hours just to see it. That's a game. Its story and world are both cool.
That's what I mean.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's stupidly gorgeous.
I suspect that if you go in with like the correct expectations, you could probably have a tremendous amount of fun with that game. But having not played it, like I don't know whether you're like, nah, this is bad, or if you're like, you know what, I enjoyed myself. Like I can see it going either way.
I think it got a lot of pressure for being the next sort of definitive big exclusive Sony game in a year where those were kind of lax outside of Bloodborne and a couple things that got moved around.
Yeah.
Especially once Uncharted got delayed, it was like, well, it's all on you guys. That being said, I think it got like a lot of 3s and 4s and 5s. I don't think it's that bad.
No,
I think it's
okay.
It's a 6 or 7 game.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, sometimes you just want a kind of stupid movie. It's like an airplane movie, you know?
Yeah.
Airplane movie is definitely a genre of movies.
Yeah.
It's definitely a real thing.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought you were talking about the movie Airplane.
Right. No, there are actually 2 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to...
One good one.
One goes into space, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Old space plane.
Not really an airplane. Battlefield Hardline
Yeah.
came out this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that did get pushed into this year.
Yep.
That is a game that was released this year, that it exists, and is available today.
Yeah.
I mean,
I liked the single player in that game actually.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. I thought the story was cool. I liked a lot of the sort of arresting mechanics. Yeah, I think it's multiplayer. Again, it's like Evolve, where it's multiplayer got just left up by the
I think
wayside.
of all the modern Battlefield games, I've heard the least about this one. I just don't think I don't hear people talking about it.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem to be a thing.
It also just was an unfortunately timed game in terms
Yeah.
of just
In terms of
what was
current
happening
events.
in current events.
Yeah.
And
Of course.
all across America. So, and then very quickly after that, EA was like, and then here's Star Wars Battlefront. And we're like, oh, this is what we want to play.
Yeah.
I actually like. I'm not a Battlefield player or a Call of Duty player. I'm just kind of over military shooters. But I have a little bit more respect for Battlefield just because of the crazy shit you'll see happen. Like I visit the Battlefield subreddit sometimes just to see like. I don't know, just people flipping tanks in crazy ways, or I saw a guy sniper a rocket out of the air that was going to kill him. And you see stuff like that, like it's more sandboxy than Call of Duty is, in my opinion. And that's not the opinion of like an informed, like I'm not playing these games for hundreds of hours, but that's how it seems to me as an observer. Like it's more of a playground for physics and craziness that is cool.
Yeah, you see 1,000 times more videos of look at this insane thing that happened, this 1,000,00001 thing that happened in Battlefield than you see in a Call of Duty game.
That's actually why I love Halo so much. But yeah, Battlefield has more of that in its DNA, I think. So it's cool. It's cool as a spectator.
Yeah, it was. I guess it was odd to see that game get released kind of off cycle. Like that's Battlefield's always like a fall
spring,
game.
yeah.
It's like it's right next to Call of Duty and stuff like that. And it's we saw it kind of in the first half of the year. So I don't know if that's going to loop back around after Star Wars this year.
Yeah.
Next year there's going to be.
I do want to play. You're right about those arrest mechanics. Like they did a lot of innovative stuff on the campaign. That's another campaign I didn't play. Maybe that's another one I should just sort of blast through this summer.
Yeah,
after
it does a
Batman.
cool episodic. Like it feels like it's a season of a TV show.
Right.
It's cool.
GTA 5 came to PC.
Yeah.
Not its first release, but
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
very anticipated and has given us many entertaining mods.
Yeah.
Yeah, God,
For many
awesome.
years to come, that will continue to be the case.
Just the sheer fact that you can ride a bicycle as a monkey is so much fun now.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, I saw like a monkey jack a car, and then he's driving up the street, and I'm just like, this is a weird
Yeah.
world. It's
So
one of
like-
those moments where it's like our jobs are weird.
Well, like summoning like the whale.
Yeah,
the sky.
Yeah.
And it's just
You can flood the entire city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The entire city goes underwater because Atlantis. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
Majora's Mask came to 3DS.
That's right.
That game's great.
I gave that game another chance, and I really loved it. You know, you and I had talked for years about
Yeah.
one day we'll give this game we'll do this playthrough because you liked it and I didn't, and I got to play it again this year, and I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But interestingly, I had the opposite reaction where I was like, this really isn't as good as I remember. Yeah, like it's still really good. It's a Zelda game, it's great, but in my mind I was like, this might be the best Zelda game.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this isn't. This actually
I was
isn't.
mistaken.
Yeah, and it's
really
definitely
good.
a little rough around the edges, and
Yeah.
it's definitely still an N64 game.
Yeah.
You know, through and through. Nintendo's been doing these kind of remakes here and there, and I think Wind Waker sort of fared the best out of all of them. And I think it's because they did more than just slap new paint on it. They actually like moved some stuff around. They got rid of the Triforce quest, or at least
Yeah.
streamlined it. Whereas the Grezzo team that made Ocarina of Time 3DS and Majora's Mask 3DS, they made some really good looking N64 games.
there are a few quality of life improvements to the way that the menus work and what
Totally.
happens when you zip back and forth through time. Which,
Switching items and stuff,
yeah,
especially.
Oh, yeah.
makes that game a little bit more playable
Yeah.
by
Yep.
today's
Yeah.
standards.
It's also super weird, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
Also,
Very strange.
when the word Grezzo always makes me laugh. It's
It sounds like an Italian guy, right?
Yeah, he's
It's
in
Italian rat. Not
Hey,
like
Grezzo here. I made you a new Zelda game. What do you want? It's an old one. I put some new paint on it. See you in a few years.
Oh, he's in Wu-Tang.
Grezzo.
Yeah, the Grezzo.
The Grezzo.
That's so dumb.
Finally, Grim Fandango Remastered
Yeah.
arrived, which I still have yet to play.
Oh man,
Play that one.
that some real handsome boys say that's the best game ever made. That was just me.
Just you.
Just me.
Banjo-Kazooie.
No, Banjo's number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Grim Fandango I think tells the best story in any video game ever. I think it's the funniest video game ever made. You need to sort of embrace its 1999, 1998 design.
Yeah. Does it have a hint system like Monkey Island did? They implemented a new hint system in
which
Monkey
was
Island.
great in Monkey Island.
It's kind of a bare bones port. I mean, it's very pretty, but they didn't do any sort of quality of life upgrades that we
Yeah.
were talking about for Zelda, for example.
Yeah, and the hint system could definitely be there because there are some puzzles that are real obtuse. That
Don't be
you
afraid to just use a fact. Like, it's a game worth experiencing. It's a story worth experiencing. So if you're the type of guy that's like, I don't know how to solve this puzzle, and now I'm just done with this game, just use a guide, and then you'll still have a great video game experience.
Yeah.
But we'll think you're a coward.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't
no, for
cheat.
sure. Yeah, we'll mock you, but do it.
dude,
Still do it.
That's a classic Grezzo move. Grezzo gun.
Grezzo.
Grezzo hates cheaters.
I think that's all the big games that have come out this year. If you had to pick personal favorites,
Why
Marty,
do you leave off the Batman?
we talked about Batman already.
Did we?
We literally
Yeah.
what?
Try to stay with. We led with Batman.
Remember we talked about how gorgeous it is and
Oh, yeah.
What if this was the beginning of the end for your mind? And you can trace it back to this exact moment.
It was a great game. Majora's Mask on 3DS.
You walk outside and you just put ketchup all over your shoes and start eating them for lunch. Hi, my name is John.
my name's Grezzo.
I don't know where I live.
You're all laughing, but it's actually very sad.
That's actually a serious disease. A lot of people eat their shoes with ketchup.
Hoof and mouth disease.
Personal favorites. Marty said Bloodborne.
Yeah, Bloodborne's yeah.
Yeah, ditto. Bloodborne.
Bloodborne.
Love it.
Mine so far has been Pillars of Eternity, but Batman is
Yeah.
climbing.
Of these, I think Batman would be mine. But the best game I've played this year actually wasn't released this year, and that would be Rogue Legacy.
Oh my god,
It
it's
was
so
released
good. isn't
last
it?
year, but
Yeah.
I started playing it this year, and man, it's just
That game is
That
really
game.
good.
Yeah, that was one of the few times. I remember you told me you had started it, and I was like, "Oh, dude!" Like that was one of those few
Yeah.
times where I was just like, I wish I
Yeah.
could be you and play that game again for the first time because it was so much fun, and the fact that you could bring it anywhere and play it
Yeah.
on Vita was just like so. God, that game is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
really good.
I love just the fact that you don't start off from scratch every time. That you
Yeah.
can use your gold to buy upgrades, and
Yeah.
you're getting a little bit better every run.
So you would love Bloodborne.
I mean, maybe I would.
I think you would. Like I was really against it, and then I went in. I had that same sort of feeling to it, where
Yeah.
I was terrible, and then you get better, and you like for some reason after you're like 50th death or your first boss fight or something, you can actually start upgrading your character. No one told me that for a while. So then it starts to open up. But there's actually a lot of parallels between those games.
Yeah.
I should probably try it. Dark Souls 2 didn't do it for me, but
Yeah.
I'll give
And Bloodborne could be. I think Bloodborne is definitely the one to like bring in new people.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think are the big news stories, the big video game news stories of this year so far?
Jeez.
Let me phrase it this way. What do you think the biggest video game news story on IGN of the year is?
I want Shot in the Dark. Was it the backwards compatibility on
That's
Xbox?
it. Xbox One backwards compatibility.
So I thought. I mean,
that was our big one from E3.
we are always like we're very forward facing here, but a large majority of our audience, and I don't blame them, still plays old games, old consoles. Like they still walk into stores and pick up something that's amazing for $10 that something we all move past.
Yeah.
So that was a huge win, and that was sort of like their big. That was they kind of shot back from the E3 from 2 years ago, where Sony kind of was just like, hey, we're gonna smack you in front of everybody, and Microsoft's like, all right, we're gonna take that one on the chin, and then we're gonna come back and hit you hard in 2 years. And Sony still doesn't really have an answer for that, aside from hey, why do we focus on old games?
Well, yeah,
I don't know why they did that.
Hey, why I gotta play old games? It's Grezzo.
Sony doesn't even, let alone, they don't do backwards compatibility, but they don't even give you the ability to buy a lot of those games for PS4.
Yeah,
like they have PS1 classics that are on PS3 and Vita that are still not available on PS4.
PlayStation Now is supposed to be their answer to that, and
yeah.
it's a mess.
Yeah.
So, in terms of, that was sort of the red herring to send everybody in that direction, which I do remember on the Xbox 360, they were fully committed to backwards compatibility, and then they started adding that in digitally, and it only worked for a certain amount of games.
It's on a title-by-title basis, which is the same as the Xbox One.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, there's just examples of like I bought and replayed half of Grandia on my PS3. And now my PS3 is in the closet, and I'm like, well, it'd be super nice if I could pick that back up on my PS4.
Yeah.
I think the backwards compatibility it's super rad that you can take, your Mass Effect disc and stick it in your Xbox One and it'll download and play that game. But like XBLA games is where that's actually really, really dope. I have hundreds of dollars of digital games just sort of trapped on my 360 that's actually busted. But even if it wasn't, I don't want to leave that console hooked up anymore. So to see those, unlocked and released to my Xbox One and just have them pop up in my library is, to me, much, much cooler than disc-based backwards compatibility.
Yeah, actually, I booted up my 360 for the first time in a long time, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot how many
World of
games
Keflings.
or just like Shadow Complex. And
Yeah.
stuff
Right,
really
I like World of Keflings.
Yeah.
World of Keflings is great.
Pick them up. You live here now.
Yeah, I mean,
Cloning Clyde.
Gamers by nature are sort of like obsessive collectors. We hoard things and we save things and store things, and a lot of people have a massive wall or a small shelf of games at home that they have to look at every day that they can't do anything with.
Now, digital game collecting, I've been saying on Tech Fetish and some other shows for a long, long time, that's the problem for the console space. Like on Steam, I think I'm up to 800 Steam games, but when I get a new computer or whatever, I have those stay with me.
Right.
But on consoles, they kind of don't, or there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to transfer them over, and the Wii to Wii U transfer is kind of a little shaky sometimes. It's not super easy
I
to
have these 7 games from my Nintendo DSi that have carried over to every system transfer, and they're on my new 3DS, and I'll never play them. It's like Tetris Party and Dr. Mario in the lowest resolution possible. It's odd to see that stuff, but
and so to see I don't know, I rebought in the early days of XBLA. I bought a few retro games, I bought Galaga and I bought some stuff like that, and I'm I spent money on that, and I feel a little bit weird that it's just kind of gone. I don't feel like I should have to rebuy it for the new
This should
console.
solve for that, though.
That's what I hope this does.
I think the logic now is that
awesome.
there's basically no such thing as space constraints anymore when it comes to actual storage. So why not keep them there? I know I go through my 3DS every now and then and delete things that I'll never play again. I was like, codename Steam. I had a fun weekend with you. I'll never play you again.
There's actually the 500 gigabyte hard drive on. Mine's full because Arkham Knight's 40 or 50. But they're at least tied to your library, and you can grab them if you want them.
Yeah.
Right. Or you can swap out your hard drive and put in a bigger one. If you have the ability to put stuff there, that brings up a different thing though. I truly feel like digital hoarding is just as bad as physical hoarding.
Yeah.
It really is. I've looked at a wall of games digitally that I'm just I'm never going to play these, but I can't bring myself to throw them away.
I had to get rid
of the premise of the show, Hoarders.
I actually had to get rid of the story of this Game Scoop. I had to delete Evolve to make room for Batman.
Oh yeah,
My hard drive is full.
Yeah,
You gotta go.
I reached
Realistically, I'm like,
Evolve.
okay, maybe I'll play this game again someday, and I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, I can't do this. You gotta go.
I sacrificed Shadow of Mordor to make room for Batman. Which I love. I love that game.
Yeah.
But I have reached that point. Any new AAA game I want to play on my PS4, something has to go to make room for the new games.
I'm like consistently at on Xbox One. I'm consistently at I think 95% full. On my hard drive.
I was looking through my PS4 yesterday actually, and I was like, how do I get rid of this crackle button and like Voodoo and all this other trash I'm never going to use? Like, how do I get these apps out of here?
Those sound like made up words, by the way.
They're
but
all
not.
really real apps that take up a small amount of space, and I don't even want their icons there.
Yeah. A game that has been in the news a lot this year, and not always for favorable reasons, is Star Wars Battlefront.
Right.
Yeah.
There's just there's been a big fan backlash.
I mean, I think people are coming around on it.
That's what I wanted to ask. Is now after E3, after seeing the demos.
Well, I don't think the public's coming around on it, but everybody in this office that had played it.
So
I was
coming around on Battlefront.
I was sold at Star Wars Celebration. When they brought us in they had this little room that they made look like the command space station thing that Mon Calamari sits at. And they filled it with these giant speakers, and they showed us this Endor level, this exclusive part of it, and then this Hoth trailer. And I was just like, this is awesome. And people are like, yeah, but you can't go to space. And I'm like, well, maybe someday you will. But for now, what they're doing is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you can hear the leaves crunch beneath your feet when you're walking on Endor. I don't care about space. We'll get there eventually.
I kind of have a little bit of mixed feelings about, like, people are really hung up on the numbers. Like, you see the sort of snarky charts that are like everything that Battlefront had 10 years ago and everything it doesn't have now. Space battles, all these playable classes, all these maps. It's like, sure, there's fewer maps and fewer planets or whatever, but I'm like, that doesn't capture like how fun the game is to play.
Right.
But that's not an invalid point to make. So it's like, that's why I'm kind of a little torn on it.
It's not invalid, but it's one of those, like, you need to sort of wait and see how good the maps are, because any multiplayer, like Counter-Strike, is built on one or two maps. That's what people play.
Yeah.
And that's what's lasted. So if I'd rather have 5 incredible maps than 30 with maybe a couple that I want to play.
But there is a real concern about chunks being cut out to be resold to you later. And it's kind of like, well, like the points that they're making aren't necessarily, coming from a space of entitlement or unreasonableness, but I do get uncomfortable where I'm like, no one's really talking about whether the game's any good or not. They're just looking at numbers.
Yeah, that's exactly where my criticism is too. Like, I don't really feel like I do feel like criticism is obviously 100% valid. You're allowed to do that. You should be allowed to do that. You're allowed to count the number of maps versus players or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I think that people haven't even looked at any of what it is doing yet, and sort of said, is this awesome or not? Because from what I've seen, from what they are doing, I'm incredibly impressed, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I have seen those images in our comments where they break down all the features of the Battlefront games in the new one, and it looks like this one has the fewest features of all. But that's totally unreasonable to expect this new studio to, like, when they start out making their Star Wars game, the first step they have to start with is make sure that they hit off on all the same points that the other games did.
Yeah.
Like, new directors are directing the next Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So they have to sit down and go, okay, Ultron had X amount of action scenes, so we have to have X amount of action scenes.
That's such a good point.
Well, it's like always a problem for like fighting games, right? And that's how you end up with like a fighting game ballooning to like 70 playable characters. Is because you have to do more than what the previous game did until you get into a situation. I feel like it's like especially relevant in that genre. Like, it's really easy to make those X to X comparisons.
This is a way worse metaphor than yours, but there's this show on Food Network that I've seen every now and then called Restaurant Impossible, where this like angry guy shows up. Yeah, he shows up at this restaurant and he's just like, he gets their menu and he orders everything on the menu and they bring it all and he's eating it and all. He's like, none of this is very good and you have 1,000 things on your menu. Let's kill this, this, and this, and let's get like 15 awesome things in the menu. Like, let's pare this down so people understand what they're getting when they come in. Restaurants don't usually sell you food 5 months after you eat there, which is what video game companies do, and that's where the metaphor falls apart. But I think there is something valid about having a core amount of really awesome stuff rather than just hitting bullet points just because you can.
Also, I mean, Battlefront's just really, really fun. That's kind of all that matters at the end of the day. Like, I don't know. I think that game showed really, really well at E3. Obviously, we named it our game of the show. But,
it's the best way to get somebody like me and like you too, who's like kind of fatigued on military shooters, to be like, how do we excite you again? I'm like, put me in space and let me shoot AT-ATs.
Hey,
it's awesome.
Yeah, you can't go to space.
It's technically space.
Put me in another galaxy far, far away.
Everything is technically space.
We're in space right now.
We're in space right now.
This is like I'm having an existential
How are we
crisis.
breathing?
That's a quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson. You're in space right now. The scoops are getting away from us this week, and I want to take some time to look ahead at the games still to come this year. But a few other big news stories this year. That Yooka-Laylee Kickstarter announcement was a big deal. That we're getting a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie.
Is that coming out this year?
Oh no,
No, right? Not for a while.
I don't think there is.
It's probably 2017.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh,
really?
Take some time.
Really?
Yeah.
Silent Hills was canceled.
Silent Hills was
People were all upset about that.
Get all the bad news out.
Silent Hills is canceled.
Yeah, that was awful.
Rock Band 4 and Guitar Hero Live were announced.
Yep.
Three music games back.
Everything old is new again.
Yeah.
And finally, Fallout 4 was announced.
Of course, yeah.
We're getting that this year. That was a big reveal.
Yeah. Yeah, there was just that the trio of things. Well, I guess Fallout 4 was slightly before E3, but just E3 between Last Guardian coming back and Final Fantasy 7 and Shenmue and Fallout 4's release date in like 4 months. Like that was
It's been
overwhelming.
That's why it's like the coolest part of our jobs is when stuff like that happens. Yeah. I saw someone make an interesting point about Fallout 4, I think, on Reddit on the bus this morning. I was browsing. The thing about all the Bethesda games is that nothing's ever bolted down. You can pick up plates and forks and potatoes, and you can haul all this shit with you if you want, like if you're OCD enough, but there is never any real reason to. But in Fallout 4, that whole base building mechanic that they spent like 10 minutes on is that all that stuff can be broken down into its constituent, they can be turned into metal and concrete and these other things that can then be poured back into your base.
You can make a garbage house.
But like now, for the very first time in a Bethesda game, like I feel like I just never connected those dots before that they recognized that was player behavior. I'm going to take every single thing out of this house for no reason because I'm a crazy person. But now they give you something to like channel that into like a game mechanic, and I'm like, that's really smart.
My experience with Skyrim was after I walked around picking up everything because that's what I do in video games. And after the first 10 minutes, they're like, "You're too fat, too heavy."
You can pick up skulls and like that stuff's worthless.
Yeah.
Like, but it also has fun like role play opportunities. Like I saw a guy wrote this whole story and had like photos and stuff to document it, where his character just had to steal every spoon in the game world. Like it was this compulsion. So he's like breaking into the palace and like trying to steal all their spoons and getting caught. And
I bet you that dude eats
stuff.
shoes for lunch.
But you can play that game that way if you
That's
want.
true.
It's
That's
neat.
All right, that brings us up to date to June 29th, 2015. Looking ahead to the rest of the year, I've put together a comprehensive list as of today of all the big games that we have to look forward to. We're going to run through the whole list in order. You guys ready for this?
Hot fire.
July 14th brings us Godzilla on PS4.
On PS4.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
I
what
think actually it might be coming to PS3 too.
Yeah, it's coming to both.
It's coming to So what is that game? Is that
It's a
fighting game?
It's like a monster brawl game.
Okay.
Yeah, where you can be all the monsters, and I think it's like 4 monster battles or 3 monster battles, something
so
like
like it was on GameCube?
that. Yeah, like
PS2,
those
that
old
one?
all
I was into that.
out melee
Yeah,
monster
War of the
attack,
Monsters
yeah,
and-
those
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
I'm totally gonna play that game.
Yeah.
It may be really dumb. I don't
Yeah.
know, but like they do have pretty much every Godzilla monster, every kaiju in
That's
that
awesome.
game, which
That's
is pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
No, this is a big mistake though. No local multiplayer.
It's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only online multiplayer for that game.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Are they gonna get we're going off the rails here for real fast.
Yep.
Is Godzilla gonna be in Pacific Rim 2?
No.
Are they gonna
No,
get that
Godzilla's
together?
going to be in
That's not that
Godzilla
one.
too.
I want them to cross over. I want them to
don't
figure it
think
out.
so.
They got that Spider-Man in Avengers. You don't know.
That's their Spider-Man is supposed to be. They were righting a wrong there.
All right.
Godzilla doesn't live in that world.
Yeah, Spider-Man had to beat that villain, Fox. Now he's free.
That same day, remember this was unveiled at E3. Trials Fusion Awesome Level Max.
Oh yeah, that's a weird looking thing.
That was a cat riding a unicorn.
yeah.
I'll totally play that because I like Trials.
Yeah, Charles is great.
And you like cats riding unicorns.
August 11th. Man, I hope there really isn't a month in between big game releases.
Yeah.
But everybody's gone to the Rapture.
Yeah, super excited for that.
PS4.
Yep, PS4. That's gonna be huge. That game is super gorgeous. Super
The next
pretty.
hot walking simulator.
Next hot
I-
walking
I mean that
simulator.
in the most affectionate way possible.
Yeah.
America's
I
Next
gotta play
Hot
that
Walking.
Ethan Carter still.
Yeah, that's really good. That's coming to PS4.
Ethan Carter's out now.
It's out on PC.
PC.
It's coming to PS4 eventually.
August 25th is Gears Ultimate Edition. Gears of War Ultimate
Yep.
Edition.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it. I love Gears of War. I love the sort of chunkier, heavier feeling that Gears of War had compared to the later ones. Gears of War 1 was also more sort of horror, gothic theme than the subsequent ones that just got kind of a little bit sillier and bigger. I like that. I actually like everything about Gears of War 1, one of my favorite games from last gen.
So E3 is kind of a blur to me. Did they show gameplay footage of that yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
Oh, they
played
did.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I want to see. I obviously understand it's the stepping stool and the foundation for whatever the next Gears is going to be on next gen consoles. But Yeah, I'm excited for that. I love the first Gears. I'm not going to play multiplayer, but I'll play through single.
It's a little strange it's not Gears Collection, honestly. There's some rumors that maybe it was, and then Halo, they bit off more than they can chew. I mean, we don't really know. But either way, Gears, to me, that's the one that most deserves to be remade and polished up and put back in front of people is the original. So I'm pumped.
It was almost unbelievably gorgeous at the time of its release.
Oh,
Does it look? Did they manage to make it look even better?
Yeah, it definitely looks more modern. Like, it definitely doesn't look as good as the Gears 4 footage that we saw at the Microsoft conference, but I mean, it looks great and still plays fantastically.
Well, that's obviously Xbox One exclusive, but on PlayStation 4 that same day, Until Dawn comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Different game, but a very interesting looking game.
I'm really excited for that. I'm a big fan of horror games. I like the idea that it's any character can die, every character can die. It seems like it would also be a fun party game.
Yeah. The game systems seem really complex and complicated in that game, and like in a good way.
That game is gory.
Super
It's
gory.
really gory.
Yeah.
On September 1st, two big games, Mad Max,
Yeah.
which looks promising.
Yeah.
You know, you want to believe. I want to believe.
Yeah.
But that same day, it might be overshadowed by
Yep. Phantom Pain.
Phantom Pain.
Yeah, that's the next.
Mad Max has got to move out of the way of that game, but there's nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, because then it starts getting tricky. But
Can move up.
Phantom
Put it out
Pain-
now.
Did you guys watch the 40-minute gameplay demo, by
it's
the way?
No.
phenomenal.
I've said it before. I'm not a Metal Gear guy. The last one I played was Metal Gear Solid 1, and I am so down for Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, all of us who've played Phantom Pain so far, that game's just going to devour our
The
lives.
gameplay demo is just insane. There's so much insane stuff.
Yeah.
Like every aspect of it that they spend like 5 seconds on. I'm like, wait, what? You have this weird mech, and it's got wheels, and it's zipping all around.
You can Fulton anything.
Snakes
You
just
can
riding
steal
on it.
Every goat.
It looks like an awesome video game. I'm a little bummed that I won't understand anything that's happening in it.
Yeah, but that's
I've played all the
roll
games,
with
and
it.
I'm not going to understand anything that's happening
Yeah.
either. So.
Yeah, just play the game.
Fulton everything.
September 8th is Tearaway Unfolded on PS4.
Yeah,
So is that they're actually like they?
it's a different. It's like
It's like a sort of
they've
like a
changed
sequel
the
or
game.
remake.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
They have changed the game in order to sort of reflect the PS4's capabilities as opposed to the.
It's sort of like Tearaway 1.5, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
A little bit, yeah.
good way to put it, maybe.
I like Tearaway a lot.
September 11th is
Mario Maker.
Mario Maker.
Super Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Which we just read the other day is shipping with
forget.
100 levels,
Which-
which is more
yeah,
than
it's
any
like-
Mario game ever.
Yeah, people did the math. I think there's like, if you count all the alternate exits, it's like 96 in Super Mario
Yeah.
World, maybe.
96 exits, but I think there's only like
exactly.
60 or 70
Yeah.
levels or something.
Yeah.
Roughly, yeah.
Whatever that is.
So that's awesome. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
I can't
right?
wait. I
Which
can't
is
wait.
like, oh man, I mean, like from what I played at E3, this is one of those games where every time I see it, it's better, and they just keep adding more and more crazy shit to it. And the fact that like it ships with 100 levels, and if you don't have an internet connection and you get stuck in quarantined in a cabin for the rest of your life, it's still an awesome game. But you connect online and start downloading levels that crazy people will make, like the kind of people that eat their own shoes, and it's going to be awesome.
I do have a lot of questions about, anytime that game comes up, it's going to live or die by how good Nintendo's tools are for surfacing the best,
Yes.
most
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
levels.
And that's always been a problem with Little Big Planet and
It's a
Sound
problem
Shapes.
for, like, no one's really figured it out. If anybody can figure that out, any game maker that has that releases a game maker.
I think
that's-
one thing
yeah.
they're doing to sort of limit the amount of garbage that gets just kicked off the trash planet is that they've basically said that they're capping you at 10 levels. So each person only can make 10 levels, which means that you have to pretty much make your best stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of like Little Big Planet was just like upload a billion things and hopefully
Yeah.
we'll find them.
They should just do a new feature level every day.
Yeah.
Just pay some employee to look through all the dregs and every day say this is the day's best level, and then you can go back through the archives and get 365 incredible levels.
I like that a lot.
365.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
really excited for that.
The 100 levels, I do wonder if they're made by like the A team or the B team, because the new Super Mario Brothers game, we've been getting more 2D Mario, and they've been good. They've totally been fun, but they haven't felt as special as some of the old school stuff. So if they had like the A team making those 2D Mario levels, that'd be
They
incredible.
had about 40 stages playable at E3, and I played about 25 of them, and they're all awesome.
Can you play them through the different art styles?
I think so. I didn't really mess with that.
It'd be rad if you could switch like the Super Mario World art style.
I think you can. Yeah.
Pretty sure you can.
Yeah.
September 15th is a game I'm very curious to see how it does. That's Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of when we're talking about everything old is new again.
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
that's sort of that Mega Man spiritual successor.
Big Kickstarter success story, or maybe not a success yet, but presumably if the game turns out good, that'll be another notch
Yeah.
in Kickstarter's belt.
Yeah, I don't know how that goes. Where like, did they make their money already? You know?
I mean, well, that's always the concern, right? Is the downside for developers is obviously the upside to get the money up front, but then what if no one buys the game because you already sold 70,000 copies of it on Kickstarter? But that typically doesn't seem to work out that way.
Yeah, I mean, things seem to have worked well for the Shovel Knight guys at Yacht Club.
Yeah.
Shovel Knight, Pillars, there's Wasteland.
I'm a little concerned with Mighty
game.
Number 9 in the way that the art style changed dramatically mid development, and it was kind of a bait and switch with the people who funded it to begin with.
Yeah.
That being said, like it's kind of a new Mega Man game this year, and that's awesome. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
September 25th is Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
It's
not the new Animal Crossing game.
Well, I mean, it's the cards, right? You buy the cards and then you scan them with the NFC reader.
The new Amiibo cards are launching with that. They are blind packed, so don't even open that door, Justin, because you'll never get them all. You just never will.
I mean, you'll be able to, just like Magic the Gathering. Like I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering and still spend money on it, even though I don't play it because I live a sad life. But you can buy complete sets usually. So people bust open 1,000 packs and they sell a complete set for like $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're really into Animal Crossing, you can probably do something like that.
Yeah, it's basically just a reduced.
It's a racket, though.
It's a racket. It's a version of Animal Crossing where it's predominantly around organizing furniture in your house because that was always kind of hard to do in the original games. So instead of just fixing that in the next one, they broke it out as its own thing.
But the weirdest thing is it's also kind of the finicky, least fun portion of Animal Crossing, in my opinion.
To some people, yeah. I mean,
I liked it. I liked the metagame aspect of it, but it wasn't mechanically like fun to do. So I don't know. I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I'll buy some packs for sure.
September 27th is Lego Dimensions.
Yeah.
Is this the one that combines different
Has everything.
properties?
It's Portal and Scooby-Doo and Wizard of Oz.
It's their Toys to Life game.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that could be big. September 29th is Tony Hawk 5.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. Everything. I like the going back to the basics. Like Tony Hawk 1, 2, 3, I adore. So
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, it's a great idea to call it Tony Hawk 5. That really signifies the exact direction they're going with it. I will say that what we saw at E3 didn't look great yet. So, benefit of the doubt and all that, but it didn't do a lot to win me over in the way that some other E3 games did.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that it doesn't look incredible considering games like Skate looked really good for the time. And it's also not rendering, it's not like, if you look at like GTA, is rendering an entire city and this is just a skate park. So we'll see. If it's fun, that's all I really care about.
Yeah.
It looked a little slow paced. It looked like Tony Hawk HD, a little bit slower paced than the old school Tony Hawk games were. I don't know. Verdict's out.
And then sometime in September, we're supposed to get Adrift.
Yeah.
that's right. I'm really excited for that
Yep.
Animorphs game. Everything we've played of it so far. It's like a walking simulator, but it's like a floating simulator.
Floating sim.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. Like the fact that you're constantly gasping for air and looking for canisters. We were like, we talked about that at PAX of sort of just like, it's a lot of breathing. And if they can figure out a way to maybe give you a tank that'll let you breathe for a long time, because it's not like you'll be able to upgrade your lungs or anything like that. But it's cool. It's going to be a first-person experience. It'll be a few hours long. You'll be able to finish it in an afternoon, probably. So
The game should have like a no stress.
I would love that.
They should have a walking simulator mode where you don't need to collect.
I love that. Like the
Can't
idea
say.
of just like, here's your space station. You can just float around it.
Or maybe after you beat it
Flowers.
once, then
Yeah.
you can just unlock that.
On October 6th, a game I'm very excited for, Disgaea 5 comes out. I imagine when the dust settles on 2015, that will be the game I've logged the most hours.
Wow.
But that same day is Rock Band 4.
Yeah.
And very interesting to see
Yeah,
how that
definitely.
performs.
We've liked it so far.
It's going to be a weird mix of people at GameStop that day.
We named it our music game of E3.
Yeah.
Rock Band.
October 9th is the Nathan Drake collection.
Yeah.
What,
which
1,
we
2, 3?
oddly haven't seen anything of yet aside from a tablecloth and Sully.
We're
talking.
going to see more of it soon.
Great. Good.
I'm being vague.
Really?
Yeah.
October 13th is Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That was our game of the show last year at E3.
I think it's really fun. I'm really happy Terrorist Hunt is back.
Yeah, that's super. Yeah, we played a lot of that at E3, and that was super fun. So excited for that.
On October 16th, we will finally get Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already out in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, already our reviews up. Daniel Krupa really liked it. That game is super pretty.
Yeah.
We're cute.
I think it's going to be really weird playing that game a month after Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's this Woolly World is beautiful, but it definitely plays it safe. And I think it's probably skewed for a slightly younger audience to be able to just run through. If you want to get every
Epic Yarn was.
collectible, it's
Yeah.
a little more. But
God, I would love July and August are sort of sparse.
Yeah.
I would love for that game to come out.
Right?
Like
That would be
within
perfect.
a month. Like
Yeah.
I would definitely play through that.
Get some mild platforming in and then play Mario Maker in
Yeah.
the fall. Yeah, it's not happening though. Not unless you're European or Japanese.
October 23rd is Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah. Again, Justin and I both played it. I like it slightly more than Justin right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the thing when you're playing an unreleased game. You know, who the heck knows what will or won't get fixed prior to release. But it's the same Assassin's Creed stuff where I tried to kill a guy, and then I was able to like get away, and then he just like returned to his patrol route. And I'm like, it's the video gamey thing where like if he just bounces, that's no fun because then the level's over. So it's like they have to strike that balance between it feeling very silly and video gamey, and then but not feeling so unrealistic that I'm not having fun. But like pedestrians, like some people stumbled across a dead body, like I'd killed somebody, and they were just like, whoa.
Yeah,
They didn't really care. I'm like, that's a dead guy. You should be
perpetually
freaking out.
feel like I'm chasing a ghost with those games because there's a few of them that I really, really love, but then it's been a few in a row that I didn't really connect with. So
the escapes don't feel riveting or tense to me. It's just kind of Benny Hill of being chased around the city of London.
Yeah, totally.
that's so good. I never thought about that.
Yeah. I think the zip line or the grappling hook. Or
that is super good. I'll give them credit for that.
I mean that makes movement in the game a lot cooler, and I really like the tone.
The train.
I like train.
You like trains?
Drops of Jupiter. The hit train song, Drops of Jupiter.
That zip line is super dope, and I totally agree with you on the mood. So
Excited to see more.
yeah.
Yeah.
I skipped over Guitar Hero Live on October 20th.
Yeah, that's like where
after
real
Rock
people are going to be staring at you through your TV.
FMV games are the new
FMVs.
hotness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so odd.
And then Halo 5 on October 27th.
Yep, huge. This is where we get into the point where literally every week something mega comes out. Halo 5.
I'm curious to see how big of a deal Halo is. Still incredible and has this giant fan base, and it's going to sell, very, very well. Xbox fans are going to pick it up. But like, is Halo still the thing?
I don't think
like
so.
Halo 2 and 3 were like, fucking stop what you're doing. There's a new Halo game out, and I don't know that they have that like cachet with
I think
people
4
anymore.
was that big.
Was it? See, I didn't feel like it
think
made
so.
as big of as
I
many
think
waves.
4 was sort of the last
Multiplayer came and went.
360
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I love Halo. I'd be happy to be proven wrong, but I don't feel like Halo
I know what you
is
mean.
the thing.
To me, in my mind, it seems like 2 and 3 were the last ones that had a long multiplayer tail.
Yeah.
People were just playing it every single day.
Totally.
They were also, they were on a console that was dominating sales charts at the time. Like,
Yeah.
Well.
Well, in Master Chief Collection, I think I actually haven't played it, but my understanding is that it is fixed now. It's fixed and awesome.
Right.
But it was busted for like months.
Months
Yeah.
and months.
I mean, Halo 5 is going to, I bet.
It
it's
looked
gonna be, I bet it's going
incredible
to
at
be the
E3.
best-selling exclusive of the year.
See, it kind of felt anecdotally that coming out of E3, people were like excited for it, but nobody was like, I'm pumped to play that game.
Yeah.
Like
The
it
campaign stuff looked really, really good.
It had a good showing, but we'll see.
And I actually gave them props for doing what they're doing with the multiplayer as well.
That's short for propers.
Propers.
It's when you ruin it when you say that. It's not a cool word anymore.
Getting into November 3rd is Need for Speed.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
That
The
same
reboot.
week.
Yeah.
Reboot.
Yep.
November 6th is Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
COD Blops 3.
Yeah.
Yep. Then November 10th is a really big day.
Rise of the
Because
Tomb
that's the
Raider.
day we get Rise of the Tomb Raider and Fallout 4
Jesus.
on
Yeah.
the same day.
Is everybody's plan to play just blast through Tomb Raider first
Yep.
and then pick up Fallout?
Yeah, I think that's a good.
I'll come back and explore that tomb later.
Yeah.
Get to the end. Okay, Fallout 4.
If all you saw of Tomb Raider was what they showed on stage, go back and watch like their extended demo.
Behind closed doors demo, yeah.
But I think we have it on IGN, or it's at least on their YouTube channel. I mean, it's out there on the internet. It actually shows real gameplay and foraging and fighting a bear, and it's so much more impressive than the sort of scripted sequence that they showed on stage.
A lot of the BCD demos, behind closed doors demos from E3 are being released, I believe, July 1st. The Uncharted behind closed doors demo, which is the extra 10 minutes is phenomenal, is being released. So yeah, keep an eye on those.
I was a little not shaky on Tomb Raider, but I just wasn't that impressed with the press conference stuff.
I agree
But then
with
when
you.
I saw
It's
the
like,
gameplay, I'm like,
she's just
yep, this
climbing-
looks great.
The fact that I don't know if they actually straight up say this in the trailer, but in the version in the behind the closed doors thing we saw, they said that all the caves are protected by a bear.
Yeah.
Not one bear, but a bear.
A guardian animal.
A guardian animal, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a great idea.
It was like such a crazy scrappy fight. Like
My only hesitance on it is just like sort of thematically, I'm not totally enthused about playing an entire game that takes place in the snow.
See, I don't think the entire game will.
I hope they let us go to some cooler.
I mean, I almost imagine like you find almost like this lost city, like
Right.
I've
Seen something like that.
like Shangri-La, where all of a sudden
Yeah.
there's this really lush green place in the middle of the.
yeah,
it's a little. She gets so beat up,
I know.
I mean,
and it's like Nathan Drake doesn't get that beat up. Like
But
I don't know.
his shirt becomes untucked.
That's
Well, they
true.
haven't even shown the stuff where like a spike goes through her.
Yeah,
or, like,
I'm sure they'll bring those
she
back.
gets
yeah.
impaled by a tree or crushed by rocks. That was really hard
Yeah.
to stomach.
I know.
Yeah.
I just start skipping those after a while.
Yeah.
Stop dying.
November 17th is Battlefront.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a November.
I know. Well,
Awesome.
It ends with this is a random game that was at Ubisoft's press conference, November 27th, Trackmania Turbo.
Oh yeah.
I've never played a Trackmania game, but I thought it looked kind of fun, kind of
Yeah.
like Mario Kart-ish.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean, long-running racing franchise has its sort of core fan base that Ubisoft, I feel like, is trying to open up to sort of a bigger,
Yeah.
broader
There's
audience.
like a generate track button. You can auto-generate a track.
F-Zero
it's very
X had
fun.
that function.
Yeah.
And then sometime in November, we're supposed to be XCOM 2. Doesn't have a date.
PC exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 games for December. Just Cause 3,
Yeah.
on December 1st. Which is totally fun. I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
where I'm going to find time to play
Yeah.
it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
December 4th is Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's huge.
For Wii, which is good because we haven't had anything since Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah. Well, we're
for
gonna
Wii.
get Star Fox.
Star Fox.
Yeah, Star Fox is holiday.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
holiday.
yeah,
Yes, we don't know that yet. December 8th is Hitman,
Yeah. That'll be great.
which I'm really
It's
interested
really cool. Yeah. Sort of this
in it.
evolving
Yeah.
thing that we're gonna continually get free
Service.
DLC.
And if you
feel
put out
like
a
Just
game
Cause-
after that, you're kind of dead.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Just Cause and Hitman should move to January, in my opinion.
Just Cause
Yeah.
would be perfect in January.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe.
You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of, well, I mean, I guess you can still buy it and play it in January,
Yeah.
but I feel like that game would fare
And
better.
I think I've been saying this for a while, but I think Star Fox needs a couple more months in the oven. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think it's
So,
ready.
yeah.
I really don't.
Nintendo for holiday, they're supposed to have Star Fox and Triforce Heroes.
Yeah.
Triforce Heroes is awesome. Played
really?
some of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Really fun.
Super fun. Yeah. And there's a couple of really cool indies that we've been covering that don't have exact release dates, but stuff
Yeah.
like that we think is coming out this year, like Firewatch and Below and Oxenfree. So
And I hope Below
The
finally
Witness.
comes out.
The Witness.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've seen Below like
Seen a lot.
every E3, every PAX for
Yeah. I
years
think
now.
they're getting close to the finish
What
line.
about No Man's Sky?
this year.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't have a release date. We've announced it's our
Hearing
IGN
this, I don't
first.
know where that game fits.
don't
I mean,
Yeah,
it's our IGN first for July.
Yeah.
I don't. I'd be surprised if it was this year, honestly.
If it is, I'd be kind of surprised if it wasn't.
Man, I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
Someone's gonna be surprised. Happy birthdays.
All right, that's a look at all the games we have.
That was a lot of video games.
Find time to play. Yeah. Before we go this week, of course, it's time to play Video Game 20 Questions.
Thought we were going to maybe get out of it.
Nope. The people demanded, Justin.
Okay.
Everyone at the IGN house party this weekend told me they love 20 questions.
So are we gonna house rule? I feel like the alphabet thing is like a cheat code.
Okay, no alphabet.
Were you here for that one?
No, I was
We
only
figured
here
out-
for the ones where I
We figured
didn't
out that it only takes 4 to 5 questions to get the letter that the game starts with. Because you keep splitting the alphabet in half.
Yeah.
Do you do like?
I was like, does it fall like before the letter M?
Yeah. But we're not gonna do that. That's a cheat code.
okay. I thought it was like
But you
Wheel of
guys are all
Fortune.
working together to
Okay,
guess the game.
good.
So you have 20 questions, but the new sudden death rule is if you guess a specific game and it's wrong, you guys lose. So you have to be certain.
Oh
right?
man. Okay, so you can kill yourself off.
Wild card.
Yeah. All right, so 20 questions. You may begin.
Is it before January 1st, 2000?
No.
Okay.
Is it?
Is it a Microsoft exclusive game?
No.
Is it a multi-platform game?
Yes.
Is it a 360 generation game?
Yes.
Okay.
Was it published by a publisher who had a press conference at E3 this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoa.
So wait, but it's not an exclusive.
Not an
So that
exclusive. So,
means-
it's Ubisoft, EA, Square, or Bethesda.
On Xbox 360
It was of that generation.
of that generation. Oh, so we don't know the platform.
Well, it's
No, it could be
multi-platform.
multi-platform.
It's multi-platform.
Genre maybe.
Genre. Is it a first-person shooter?
No.
Is it a platforming game?
No.
Okay. Is it rated M for mature?
I don't think
Okay.
so. Come back to me on that one.
Okay.
No.
Zach just yelled no. A
No.
ghost just yelled no. The Phantom of the Opera just yelled no.
Is it rated T? I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, probably. If
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a multiplayer? Oh, is the game?
Does it have a multiplayer?
No.
Okay.
Is the game known for its multiplayer?
Yes. That's
Right.
10.
Wait.
So
Let's
it's
take
not
stock.
a first-person shooter.
Let's take stock.
Yeah.
It's not a first-person shooter. It is known for its multiplayer. It came out in the 360 PS3 generation. It is
Rated T.
Not a platformer, but he
Released-
vaguely hesitated briefly.
Released by Ubisoft, EA,
Was it a
Bethesda.
Ubisoft game?
No.
Is it an EA game?
No.
Well,
Is it a Square Enix game?
No.
I'm sorry, guys.
is it should we ask Bethesda? Should we even bother?
Is it a Bethesda game?
Nope.
Well, at an E3 press conference.
Published.
But that doesn't make any sense. Would Microsoft publish a game that appeared on other platforms? We also heard a ghost just shouting at us again.
Weirder things have happened.
Well, how many questions was that? Dude, we're
You're at
hosed.
14. You have
Wait,
6 left.
but it's multiplayer. It's known for multiplayer.
Yes.
F.
Well, I mean, there was okay. So
Is
there's
it-
wait. There were games like Shadowrun. That was a shooter that Microsoft published that also
it's
appeared on
not
PC.
Shadowrun.
I know it's not
It's not
Shadowrun because it's a shooter.
Yeah.
But I'm saying a game like that, like PC and Xbox, maybe.
Is it a game in a series that we talked about on this episode of Video Game Scoop?
No.
F.
5 left.
Hold on. We got to figure out. Like,
Does it fall before F?
wait. Did the
class.
game? I wish we would have spent more time on platform at the start. Now we've burned too many questions. Like, what if it's on a Nintendo platform? Is it on a
It's
Nintendo platform?
No.
Damn it.
Does it?
We're not even close. We are getting worse at this, by the way.
The sudden death rule may be too hard. I don't know.
No, because we would just be burning questions guessing games. We're not even close.
Yeah.
We didn't get genre. How do we spend all our questions? We screwed up.
You guys shot through 5 in the middle. You're like, is it Nintendo? Is it Sony? Is it Mario?
Is it? It's a multiple. What other multiplayer games? Is it a?
I was thinking maybe like a Ratchet and Clank because it's sort of platforming, but those are exclusives.
Is it a?
Was there something like that? Was it like Sly Cooper?
No, it's not multiplayer. Multiplayer.
yeah.
Known for multiplayer.
Known
Is it?
for
Is it?
It's not a platformer either.
Do you earn points for killing things? I mean, is that like sort of the? In your opinion, is the object of the game to kill things?
Well, yes. If the object of the game to kill things, yes.
You just.
You narrowed it down to 50 billion video games.
But the way he answered that is going to be when he names it. I'm going to yell.
3 questions.
Hold on.
left.
We might be able to salvage this.
No, we can't.
We know it was published by either Microsoft or Sony
Yes.
because it's not on a Nintendo platform and it's not one of the other 4 third parties. We know it's a multi-platform game. We know it came out on the 360 generation. Like, we know a lot of stuff.
We know it's considered multiplayer, but some things have to die. What are a big multiplayer game? What if he's just doing Left 4 Dead again? That'd be such a jerk move.
I'm thinking it's probably a Microsoft published game because I would imagine it probably appeared on Xbox and PC. Because I don't understand how a Microsoft or Sony published game would appear on both those platforms.
I agree.
Is it anything? I can't think of anything. Maybe maybe this is a total red herring
Red herrings.
leading us astray. But were there any Steam
Was it a?
Geometry Wars?
Was it like a downloadable game?
Yes. 2 questions left.
So we're thinking XBLA. Of the 360 generations.
The Maw.
No, but it's multiplayer. So what we had?
Don't shout it out. We're conferring amongst
Yeah, we gotta
ourselves.
talk about this.
Geometry Wars.
That's what I said.
No, that's not like multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
really.
not. No, it's not. It's not
Passive
known.
play.
I wouldn't say known for its
Yeah.
multiplayer.
It's definitely not. Yeah.
I mean, so there's Geometry Wars, Braid, Limbo,
no.
Shadow Complex,
none of
Bastion.
Multiplayer XBLA
None of
game.
those. Castle Crash.
Oh snap! But not. Yeah. Wait, who published? What did they? Did Microsoft publish Castle Crashers?
I don't know. I think so.
Don't know.
Is it?
Go.
No, but I'm not going to ask that game. We got 1 question left to narrow it down. So, what's the smartest way? Cooperative? Is that a good question? Is it cooperative?
Is it cooperative?
Yes.
I don't think it's Castle Crashers because I asked if when I said about is the primary thing you do in the game kill things, and he gave like a funny.
But let's think about it. Let's think about cooperative downloadable games that were published probably by Microsoft. I don't know. I don't think they published that game. I think the Behemoth did it themselves. But they might have published the XBLA version.
Right.
It's hard to hold up just 9 fingers.
See, it's Game Scoop. We all learn a little.
This represents the one question you have left.
Okay.
I thought that represents that we're doing really good.
Good job, guys.
All right, it's time for you. You have to make it. If you don't
can't-
guess a game, you lose.
I can't even think of any other cooperative games.
Well, let's just break. Each of us gets one guess.
I already said mine.
What?
You already know what it is.
Castle Crashers?
Yes.
Mine is.
I can't even think of. My brain's completely
what is-
broken.
Mine is the Scott Pilgrim game.
Double Dragon Neon. Was that even that gen?
Zach, let's put it up on the big board.
Are we gonna be mad?
Oh, it's so terrible in this game. Wow, I only asked one question the whole time. See, you gotta know when to hold them and know when to.
So originally came to Xbox 360. Microsoft published it there, but Sony published it on PS3.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so weird.
Yeah.
Really good.
I want a sequel to that game. See how excited we are about it?
I think Zach clapped.
Man, that's not a
the
platformer
wire.
in any way.
Yeah, that's why I was saying. I mean, yeah. Not that
Yeah.
You can jump
the
in it,
primary
right?
thing.
Can you jump in it?
You are primarily killing things.
Yeah, that was totally fine.
yeah.
The platforming, I feel like.
Can you not jump in that game? I don't think you can jump in that game.
I don't know if you can
so.
jump. Yeah.
But I do a jump attack of some kind.
That's really good.
Maybe you do jump and attack. Okay, I don't
That's
even
good.
remember.
Ooh, that was good. I feel good. Also,
Ryan
I
got it.
want to go play the Scott Pilgrim game again.
Yeah, the game's
Yeah,
That was really good.
The music in that game.
Yeah,
so good.
awesome.
And I'm gonna
Double Dragon Neon, not so much.
No.
No, that was not. That was a hot trash.
play.
covering our bases.
All right, that is all the scoops we have for you this week. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Brian. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address at gamescoop@ign.com. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.